It truly doesn't get more special than this. We're talking about a game day edition of Boy Green Meets Wudi. We got our jerseys, all right, of former players. Pretty sad to say it about mine. But anyway, because I bought it a month ago, it is a game day edition. Okay, and we not only have a special episode, we have a special guest. Okay, this man is so busy for him to just carve up some time in his day for you and me means everything to us. Okay, stay tuned. We're gonna talk Jets. We're gonna talk Patriots. AFC East. Boy Green meets Wudi.
Can you guys help us get a Jet chant here? Yeah, going.
Oh.
Okay, right, yeah. Come on in.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go!
J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets! Let's go! J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets! Let's go! There you go, Woody!
Third Party Thursday.
Chris joining us here on the program with a capital P here on the program.
Jake Asman, come on down. How you doing, good sir?
Wow, what an intro. I mean, Boy Green is known for having the intro, but Wudi, that was unreal, man. Thanks for the kind words, son.
We are men of many names.
My favorite Austrian Jets fan right there, baby.
Boy Green
Meets Wudi. Welcome to another episode. Not just another episode, though. A game day. The game day episode of Boy Green Meets Wudi. It is your boy, James Wudi. And you already know we are Wudi. Rocking everywhere. Yes, sir. And right there, the man with the jive. You already know he got the moves. Come on now. That is the boy who became king, Mr. Paul. As did Junior under the sea with it. Under the sea. Hey. And of course, like we said before, we have a highly esteemed guest, somebody who's plugged into the game, will be at the game. And he says, skirt, we're going to take some time to talk with my guys. He is none other than the host of Patriots Daily. Come on now, we're talking about our guy, the beat reporter, from Patriots CLNS, none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Taylor Kyles. Come on down. How you doing, our good sir?
I'm fired up right now, boys. It wouldn't be Gotham without a dynamic duo, and you two got me fired up. I wish the game was in like half an hour. I could carry this momentum into the contest, but thank y'all so much for having me again. This is awesome.
You know, Taylor, real quick, I thought we were the fan base with the spelling bee, Jets, Jets, CLNS. You guys trying to step on some turf over here? What the hell's going on, man?
Hey, man, this is New England division. All right, that's all that is. You got your territory, we got ours. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I'm picking up what you're putting down, Taylor Kyle. So let's go this right off the top. Okay, you do so many things. You're so well accomplished, and you're everywhere for Pete's sake. But you host this show called Patriots Daily. As a host of Boy Green Daily, I like the cut of your jib, pal. I like the daily. That's pretty gosh darn good. But I saw that you did a show this week, and it was labeled. Let me get my glasses out here. How the Patriots can avoid an upset against the Jets. Now, I'm sure that was interesting, fascinating content for Patriot fans, but let's do a different episode. How can the Patriots avoid winning? That's what I would like to know today. What's the blueprint to do the opposite, to avoid the upset? I want you to drive into oncoming traffic of the upset. That's what I need today. Yeah.
Well, for that to happen, I think it's going to take one. I mean, y'all are banged up, and that's the tough part. But I think if anything is going to get the Jets over that hump against the Patriots, obviously on the road, very tough, it's going to be the ground game. I do think the Patriots, the run defense has been excellent this season. When you look at the numbers, you know, it might not look like so much of a matchup, but I do think that the Jets are going to be the first team that really pounds the rock. Now, against the Falcons, and then last week in Tampa Bay, I don't think either team really leaned into the ground game as much as they could because there were some pretty big rushing lanes for those running backs. Now, against the Falcons, a lot of those were quickly closed up by the defensive backs. Those cornerbacks and safeties for the Patriots are playing some excellent run defense. They're sticking their face in the fire, playing fearless. But last week, while the defensive backs were still good, it felt like the lanes were bigger and also linebackers were getting blocked. And that's where you saw Sean Tucker, become the first running back to get 50 rushing yards against the Patriots, which I know everybody saw coming going into the game with Buck Ewing banged up and all that. So, I mean, the fact that the Patriots had their worst rushing performance on defense, at least, against an offense that you thought wasn't going to be able to run the ball much at all, I just feel like against the Jets and Breece Hall, maybe they do run into a wall for most of the game, but if the Jets run the ball like 30 times and the Patriots don't get themselves a lead and really come out in front, I feel like at some point Breece Hall could break one. I always think back to Bill Belichick's last game, right? Where it looked like the game was over, then Breece just breaks one at the end. Honestly, I was really happy. I wanted them to lose that game because I was like, let's get Drake May. Let's just get this damn season over with so we can get to the draft. But again, it's going to take a lot for the Jets, but also when you look at some of the other margins, the return team for the Jets, right? Great special teams unit, which could absolutely make a difference in this one. And Justin Fields, if they decide to sleep on him, he could scramble for big yards. If there's a run where they're too focused on Breece, maybe he takes one out the back and is able to rip some off. So if the Patriots don't get off to a fast start, I am not putting it past the Jets to make this one competitive.
By the way, just real quick, since you brought it up, Breece Hall had 178 yards rushing. Who's counting for that game anyway? The most that Breece has had in his career. So the snow game, Bill Belichick, his final game in the NFL. Ooh, that was juicy.
How fitting was that?
It was nice.
Yeah. Nail in the coffin, like that. It's so funny that you brought up the rushing yards because that was actually the first thing that I noticed when I was previewing this game. I had a preview I put up on my channel yesterday, and I was shocked.
What channel was that, Woody? What channel is that?
Take Flight Talk, baby, on YouTube. We are live there right now, all right, as one of the 5 places we are live. And I was shocked to see these Patriots numbers. And when you said, right, Sean Tucker became the first, right, we more than halfway through the season. We talk about the first running back to run 50 yards. And you guys have faced Bijan. Right? You guys have faced James Cook. You guys have faced the Panthers. Right? We talking about 3 of the most prolific rushing attacks. Those are all top 10 rushing attacks, and you guys are stifling them. I'm not gonna lie. I actually woke up this morning, went on FanDuel, and I bet the under on my guy Breece Hall. Right now,
Okay.
I did. Numbers don't lie. All right, men, women.
That's your boy.
Numbers don't lie. Right now, the line is at 57.5. And I did bet the under.
Do you like lighting money on fire, Woody? There's no Garrett Wilson. Who the hell else is going to be doing offensive things for the Jets? Under 57? Here's
under 57 rushing yards. Not
how
all,
many?
Not all
how many?
No, I said 57 rushing yards. Rushing.
No.
Not all purpose.
It's going to be
Come on now.
It's going to be more than that. You saw your money,
right,
and now it's gone.
You're right, Woody.
You saw your money, now it's gone.
All right, well, it wasn't gone when I bet on the Steelers to beat the Jets week 1. Now, my question to you, Mr. Kyles, is so when I read that stat or saw that stat, I was thinking, damn, well, we got to do some work in the air. Are you at all shaking in your boots with Aaron Mystery Glenn not revealing his QB for tonight's matchup?
Why is he doing that? Can someone explain to me the logic? Because I just got through the Gerard Mayo experience where every single week the head coach was exacerbating a bad situation by going in front of the media and making a farce of himself. Now, I will say, obviously, the Jets are riding pretty high right now. There's a 2-game win streak. And I also saw a theory out there, and I want to know what you guys think, that he's doing this to basically make himself a lightning rod to take attention away from the rest of the team. Is that reaching too far? I need somebody to explain to me what Aaron Glenn's thought process is of being we're not going to tell you whether it's quarterback, mystery quarterback who can't pass A or mystery quarterback who can't pass B. What is that? What is that?
2 things here. Number 1, it's so Taylor Collins has to stay up at night grinding Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields game. Jesus, who's it going to be? We're on the edge of our seats. That's part of it. And the other one, if that theory is to be true, that's exactly a page out of the Rex Ryan playbook. He used to say all kinds of crazy ass stuff when he was the head coach. And when he was outside of those press conferences and just doing one-on-one interviews, he said, I want all the pressure on me. I want everyone to look at me. What a clown. What of this? What of this? And his players go unscathed. They ride the ups and downs and ebbs and flows of season, and all the pressure's on coach. Look at what Rex Ryan said. Look at the bold thing. I'm not kissing Belichick's rings, this or that. So when players are going through all these troubles, Rex Ryan Ryan was the one catching the bullets, and his players super appreciated that, and then went through. Now, Rex Ryan had back-to-back AFC championship games and sort of had a resume to speak of, but that theory isn't that crazy, to be honest. I mean, that seems like rationalizing more than coming out and saying that's the reason for the get-go, but I can buy it. Yeah.
I can respect that. I can respect that for the head coach. Now, also, I know you guys are technically supposed to be interviewing me, but I also want to get a little peek behind the curtain.
Yeah,
It's been a short
please,
week.
yeah.
I'm catching up on some things.
Definitely.
Have you seen glimpses of Aaron Glenn potentially being the guy? Like, obviously, that's a pretty good first step of knowing to protect your team. Mike Vrabel has done that as well. But especially now that things are getting a little bit better, are you starting to see kind of the light between the clouds and where this could go now that you have all these draft picks and kind of the capital to really start a true rebuild?
I think you might have seen my preview yesterday on Take Flight Talk, Taylor, because that was actually the last thing. That was the last thing that I brought up. And I wanted to field this question because Boy Green, I know he's going to say yes no matter what. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
come on.
You know, Boy Green. Sit this one out, brother, real quick, respectfully.
But for me, somebody who is, looking at, Cliff Kingsbury and, looking at all the different people that could potentially be hired this offseason, I have seen a difference. I have seen a potential light at the end of the tunnel. And I feel like you can see tangible evidence of where in weeks 1 through 4, these boys could not even run a 2-minute drill. They ain't know how many minutes. They ain't know left from right, left. Okay. But now they actually ran in 2 consecutive games, successful 2-minute drills. Their late game execution against the Browns was masterful. And that's not a word I say when I talk about the Jets very often, but it truly was. 1st and 10, Brees gets the first down. He rushes 10 yards, slides inbounds to keep the clock going. That's coaching. That's that little thing. And when they still were in an opportunity where they had to give the ball back, then they draw that neutral zone infraction to end the game. Like all of that, that's the X's and O's. That's why I wanted Mike Vrabel, because I know he's the king of clock management. He knows every page in that rule book. He talking about 443B. This happens, and this is why we're going to do this. So I really wanted that because that helps elevate the team. Mm-hmm. And I think I've already seen AG coach one way, and you've seen that improvement in these last 2 games. So I do see some light.
Yeah, and I would say 2 things here. First off, that last thing that you said, the most Jets thing ever is it's opposite, right? The Browns have to punt. Geez, let's just fuck with them and go up to the line of scrimmage and Red Eagle. Oh, they jumped up. First down, game's over. So that's normally what happens from a Jets perspective when they were going up, because now for all these games, I do like live play-by-play of the games. I'm doing like a watch party thing, and they're coming up to the line. I'm like, come on. I mean, honestly, no one really believes they're going to go for the clearly, they're just going to run out the clock, either take the 5 and just back up, have a little bit more room to punt, or they're just going to go up and go, hey, a little motion at, and then the Browns jump up, like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Unbelievable. And it's Cleveland, okay? It's Cleveland. I get it. It was the Bengals the week before in between the bye week and all that, Jets. So I get the level of opponent, but that to me is encouraging. Another one is players here. So AG has been catching heat for all kinds of reasons this season. One of them is, so they had I'll do a long story short. Xavier Gibson was on the team. A lot of Jet fans didn't think he should have made the team, but okay, he makes the team. Week 1, he has a key fumble in the second half. The Steelers, and it swings some momentum. The Steelers score a touchdown immediately. Jets lose. A few days later, Aaron Glenn puts Xavier Gibson's head on a pike outside the building, fires them, and he's like, see ya, accountability. And they replace him with some guy named Isaiah Williams, who's on the Bengals practice squad. They're like, fixed, Isaiah Williams, great. In week 4, Isaiah Williams had a fumble of his own in the second half that the Dolphins also scored immediately on a touchdown, and he fair caught a ball at the 2-yard line, and everyone was like, oh dear God, what are you doing? What an idiot. And then Jet fans are losing it. Like, you can't have Isaiah Williams on the team. This guy sucks. He just caused you. And AG cuts him from ahead of the week 5 game that me and Wudi did a tailgate at. And ahead of the next week, they had to go to London. So they were traveling early in the week. They re-sign Isaiah Williams. AG catches so much crap for that. Like, how could he bring this guy back? He sucks. And credit to AG. He even made a non-direct reference to this during one of his recent press conferences. He said, we don't listen to the noise on the outside. We develop our players in here, and we get them ready for the situations. And Isaiah Williams, blessed be he, had a 74-yard punt return to the house against Cleveland, and he had been really progressing as a receiver as well. So that's AG trusting his gut. He is a convictions guy. He sometimes zig when everyone else is zagging, and that's led to a lot of issues. But he's his own man, and he follows his own creed. And that creed, now we're starting to see, oh, look, the players he believed in, that development's working. Oh, I see. Oh, situational football, that's improving. So yes, is there some light at the end of the tunnel of a 2-7 season on the way to 10-7, baby? It's possible. It's possible. Yes.
That's cool. So since I did use Aaron Glenn's name in the same sense as Gerard Mayo, I do want to say, so hearing that, that's kind of what the Patriots didn't get last year with the Mayo experience. Was I was waiting for the inflection point where it's like, okay, things are bad. He's in a horrible situation. Let's just see where he sets himself apart and where he starts pulling this team out of the mud. And you start to see, okay, you can really see where they could go if you start building some better infrastructure around him. And then after the bye week, things got worse. And it was very clear, like, this is not the guy. So with that, with Aaron Glenn, very cool. That also cool story for Isaiah Williams, that he is able to get the best out of players. And you're seeing some level of tangential growth. That is very cool. And Patriots fans have been really mad at me for saying this. I like it better when the Jets are competitive. I like when it's like a fun rivalry and it's one where I don't have to go into the game like, I hope this isn't gross. I just don't want to grow. Like, I don't want 10-7. I don't want that. So yeah. I really hope you guys are trending upwards. That's very cool.
First off, Taylor, I just gotta love that you're rooting for Jets competitiveness. So let's work that in there. And here's the other thing, Taylor, just to randomly get to this detour. Okay, so Mike Vrabel interviews with the Jets. It's the first head coaching interview he takes this cycle, and he goes to Jets facilities. Jets are wow, they're all over him. And over in New England, Gerard Mayo is still employed at that point, and I'm like, okay, with the Patriots one and done Gerard Mayo. In my head, I'm like, God, I hope not. Because, like, just hold on to him. Just Vrabel's going to get a job somewhere. It's the Jets or somebody else. He's getting a job right here, right now. But if the Patriots job is not open, he can't go there. So I said, come on, Patriots, you're above this. You wouldn't just one and done a guy like Gerard Mayo. You're above this, man. You wouldn't do it. And as soon as I saw he was fired, I'm like, son of a bitch. I know what's about to happen. But Taylor, was there any thought, because this is us from the outside, of course, we're not Patriots people, but I thought the Patriots, again, I keep using the term sort of above that. Like, I didn't think they were going to just one and done a guy. And for folks that don't remember the Gerard Mayo story, former first-round pick, he punched in his ticket every single day from player to coach. Like, he was there forever. So I thought they were going to give him more of a run than that. So I assume it was just so bad that they had to pull the eject button, or was it the availability of Vrabel that pushed it over the fence?
I think it was a little bit of both, because Robert Kraft and the Kraft family really like to hire who they know, which is very understandable to a degree. Now, obviously, it can backfire, like in the Gerard Mayo situation, but that was one where I don't think they did their due diligence. I think they made that move out of fear that they were going to lose Bill, and they wanted to have some kind of insurance plan and backup. But then by doing that, once Bill caught wind of it, everything blew up, because then Bill didn't want anything to really do with Gerard. Then it was just a whole big thing. And I was very much on the bandwagon of, I try to be an optimist, right? I try to give people their due and try to give people time, because the NFL is often seen as a business where things happen very quickly. And in some cases they do, but when it comes to improvement, what's happening with the Patriots now is not normal, right? Usually it does take time and people have to learn. But like I said, after the bye week for Gerard Mayo, you just didn't see any growth. If anything, they got worse. You had players starting to speak out in ways that you had never seen before. And you knew that players like Gerard, which made it even worse, where you're saying, like, they have been coached by this guy. They know this guy. They speak out and try to defend him. And even when he got fired, they said, like, he was just in over his head. And I think that that created a situation where especially fans were coming and booing, were in the paper bags, like attendance was shot. It was a really bad situation where maybe if there weren't a lot of other candidates that Robert Kraft was familiar with, he might have let Gerard get another year. I was at the point where I was like, I think another year would just be him maybe getting to average, and that is detrimental when you have a young quarterback who has star potential. And I think Vrabel being available just made it a no-brainer at that point, where it's okay. Like the Gerard story, if it went well, is basically what Vrabel's was. He's like Belichick in a lot of ways, and he worked under Bill, but he doesn't want to be Bill. He wants to be his own guy. He's more empathetic. All of those things where it's like, okay, like a new age Bill, awesome. He played for the team. He won all these games and everything. But Vrabel was one with the track record, who had done it before, who had been a coach of the year. So yeah, at that point, like I was not looking forward to, but I was hoping they would let go of Gerard because it just didn't seem tenable. And then with Mike Vrabel and Ben Johnson, I was kind of in on both of those guys. But yeah, I just think that availability made it a no-brainer for the Patriots.
Yeah, I just want to make this clear. I'm not a stalker or anything, but Taylor, did you switch your studio? Are you in a different location of your house now?
Yeah, so this is like the third kind of iteration of my setup. I used to be pointed the opposite way with the window behind me like an idiot. I don't know. Liz, my girlfriend,
I wasn't going to say anything, but
like Wudi, happy wife, happy life. I, like an idiot, spent a whole year backwards, and then finally my producer came and was like, how about we do it where the light isn't directly behind you and messing up the shot? And he also did a great job. Liz was responsible for this, and then,
the lighting.
My producer set up the lighting, so I am not responsible for any of this. I'm surrounded by a great team. That is all. But yeah, this is the latest and greatest edition.
Oh, very nice.
Well, hey, that's what Tom Brady always says. I did watch Man in the arena. That's what he always says. He said, I was surrounded by great people. That's what happens when you're the GOAT.
We need it.
And speaking about goats, or maybe not speaking about goats, who knows? But Drake May has a lot of fans. And Taylor, I don't know if you know this about me. I live a mile away from UNC down here in North Carolina.
Okay.
So he's like a guy down here, the mains. Yeah, they out here. It's it's this is May country for sure. And I was looking at some stats, and then there was another one that really threw me for a loop, and that is the 35 sack that Drake May has absorbed. That's second in the entire NFL. Only Cam Ward has absorbed more. If you guys are curious why Justin Fields is not higher on the list, it's probably because he's been benched. All right, we know he's taking 9 sacks against the Cowboys and all that type of stuff. But Drake May, he's a fantastic quarterback. Is this an O-line issue? Is this just Drake, always trying to make a play? What would you say is the cause? Because this is like the only, if you look at his stat line, everything is pristine. Yeah. Besides that one little, blemish on prom night. Right there, the 35 sacks. What would you say is the cause for that number?
Anytime it's that high, it's going to be some kind of a mixed bag. You know what I mean? Part of it is the offensive line for sure. In the past few weeks, they played such good pass rushes and defenses that do such a great job scheming pressure, executing stunts and line games, things that challenge you. The Patriots have 2 rookies on the left side, in Will Campbell and Jared Wilson. Will Campbell has been very good. Jared Wilson, you see the potential. There are so many reps. You're like, damn, this kid is strong. He's crazy athletic. His recovery ability, where like last week there was a rep where he basically fell and then still managed to get back up and stay in the rep. So he's impressive. But also when there's twists, line games, and things like that, there's some that they pick up and it looks fantastic, and there's some where they kind of will get beaten by those. And then also Will Campbell going up against Myles Garrett, ironically, was very good on an island. He only lost one of their 8 reps there, but he struggled when he got chip help because he just wasn't think about it. This is LSU's Will Campbell. He doesn't get a lot of chip help in college. So against a guy like Myles Garrett, I think the deficiencies of a chip where you're not really getting out and replacing that space and instead basically just letting him rush a second time, like when that's Myles Garrett, that's detrimental. Most guys can't really win that way, but he can. So there's been that. Mike Nwenu at times hasn't played to his best ability, even though he is still one of the better pass blocking guards in the league. So the offensive line isn't without fault. At the same time, Drake May, there's times where he'll hold the ball too long for sure. Like in recent weeks before last week, he would hold it onto the ball with open receivers, which was frustrating. And then he would take the bad sacks. And those are the ones where I'm like, you can't have those, right? You cannot have an open receiver right in front of you, turn it down, and then get hit. Other times where he'll roll out and it's really a 1 or 2 yard loss where he doesn't really get hit, but he didn't throw the ball away because he was trying to make something happen. And then there's more. Then there's times, yes, where he does just hold the ball for too long, trying to extend, do whatever, and then get sacked. So most of it I would say is on Drake May, to be honest, because I feel like he's put his offensive line in some really difficult spots. But when the offensive line has gone against some of the better units in the NFL, you do start to see the cracks that you would guess with, 2 guys who are towards the end of their career, and Garrett Bradbury and Morgan Moses, and 2 rookies on the left side. So definitely a little bit of everything, but I'd put more of that responsibility on Drake May, even though he took strides towards getting better at that last week. Only took, I think it was 1 sack, and didn't really hold the ball in the same ways that I was worried about before.
Again, we're speaking with Taylor Kyles, Patriots beat reporter for Patriots on CLNS. Now, Taylor, you mentioned Will Campbell. Has his inability to grab things off the top shelf hurt him this season?
I'm not gonna lie. I questioned whether, because for me it wasn't just the arm length; it was also that he's narrow.
Yeah.
So it's just like Armand Membu. I was kind of hoping for Membu over Will Campbell. Obviously he's playing very well, and I'm glad that he got to stick to his spot. You know, there was a little bit of pie in the sky. Like, we can move; it'll be fine. But really, no, Will's been fantastic, truly. And it's the play demeanor. It's the professionalism, which I think has allowed him to not be a guy who makes repeat mistakes, doesn't get down on himself when he makes mistakes. Very much like Drake May, to be honest, where they have very short memories, which you really need for both of those positions. So he's been a plus in the run game and pass protection. Like, yeah, against some of the better players in the league, he's going to have his slip-ups. But more often than not, I think he's looked very impressive. Do the short arms come into play sometimes? Like, yeah, sure, but not nearly enough where I'm like, oh, this guy can't live at left tackle in the NFL. I didn't think he needed to kick inside to guard or anything like that. I just wondered, can he be a great left tackle? And I think if he develops a snatch trap where basically guys try to long arm you and you just knock it down, if he can get that in his bag and also continue to change up his punches, I do think he can be a Pro Bowl caliber player, especially because of how well-rounded he is. And he's going to make the highlights because he really likes to hurt people. So that kind of combination has been exciting, especially for a team that hasn't had a decent left tackle in about 5 or 6 years.
Well, quick follow-up on the offensive line. You mentioned my boy Morgan Moses. Oh, sorry, the Patriots just sort of gets me there. Have you guys been taking care of my guy? I love Morgan. He is such an A-plus human being, A-plus player. There's no this disgusted me this offseason when that report came in, and now I'm seeing pictures of it, which I'll talk to my therapist about later this week. Taylor, how has Morgan been, and how have you guys been taking care of him?
Yeah, Morgan's been really good, man. Honestly, he's been fantastic in the locker room as well. You always see him kind of shooting the shit with all the younger guys. He's really fun. And even like as a young reporter, he's been very kind to me, always helpful whenever I kind of want some information on what they're trying to do. And he's a veteran. He doesn't give away trade secrets, but he helps me learn, which I really appreciate. And he's pretty much what he was with you guys. As a pass blocker, is he always going to look perfect? No. Like, there are times where, like, Myles Garrett used hump moves to kind of throw him around a couple times, but he does a great job making sure his quarterback stays clean. And part of that is also Drake May getting the ball out on time, because on the right side, you can see where the pressure is coming from a lot of those times, and he gets the ball out to kind of save some reps. But still, Morgan has been very solid. Last week, he was a bit up and down as a run blocker, but their best runs have been off Will Campbell and Morgan Moses. So he's been a plus for them. And also, he hasn't missed any time, which, guy's 34 years old. And even though he's been durable relatively, I still figured, okay, you're thinking like 3 or 4 missed games, and knock on wood, he hasn't missed any. So model of consistency for the Patriots is something they really needed on the opposite bookend.
Absolutely nothing but love and respect over here from Morgan Moses. Both times that he left us, I was upset. Left us for the Ravens and now for you guys. But speaking in that same vein of seeing players wearing, both jerseys, we got a question from the chat here. Do the Pats regret letting Nick Folk leave the squad?
Nah, not really this year. And that's saying something, because since Nick Folk left, the kicker position was kind of in shambles. It felt like there was always a competition between two guys who weren't great. Obviously, the Chad Ryland experience, and still thank you, Chad, for Drake May. But no, the rookie Andy Borregales has been fantastic. Again, knock on wood, because I know he's a little stitious. I want to be respectful, but he had one bad game in Miami where he missed a kick, and he has been lights out since, which is really funny because when he was at Miami, he, like, in his last season, he had missed some long field goal and then was perfect after that for the rest of the season. And that's pretty much been what the case is. Now, when you're the Patriots and got Drake May, he's kicking a lot more extra points than field goals, but he's been money on those as well. So all the respect in the world for Nick Folk. He definitely earned the love of a lot of Patriots fans, and he was fantastic when he was here, which is crazy that he just had that 1 year where he couldn't make long field goals and then has been money since then. So I'm happy to see that he's still doing well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Again, we have 800 people in the room. Appreciate you guys across our 5 different destinations, baby. The Instagram, the YouTube, the Twitter. We're hip. We're everywhere, baby. So wherever you choose to be consuming the show, if you're watching on YouTube, like the video and hit subscribe, baby, here on the show. Here now, Woody's bringing up all this research and apparently does something called prep before interviews. Good to hear. Well, let me get a little bit in here, okay? So I see the Patriots have 12 giveaways on the season. Okay, that's interesting. That ranks 6th most in the NFL. See, Woody, I can do stats. All right, and the Jets only have one takeaway. It was a forced fumble from Andre Sisco, who popped the ball out. Jarvis Brownlee Jr., new guy, jumped on it, but that's it. The well's been a little bit dry. There hasn't been the Jets are the only team in the NFL that have failed to record an interception this season. But you know what, Taylor? I think it's time for change. We're amidst the holiday season. Drake May seems like a giver. Is he someone that's going to be, throwing some footballs around, giving some guys some chances, which maybe could allow the Jets to end this very embarrassing drought to get their first and maybe multiple interceptions on the season, Taylor Kiles?
He was so close to having his cleanest game in a while. Now, there was a stretch really in like most of October, it might have been like late September, early October, where he was doing a great job protecting the ball. And the past 3 games, he's committed at least one turnover-worthy play. And last week, it was on a really bad one. Well, actually, no. I didn't love it because of the situation, but he rolls out in the red zone. They really only needed a field goal to continue to add to their lead. Instead, he throws to, albeit an open Mac Hollins, but the ball's a bit behind him, ends up getting intercepted. Other than that, he'd been very good protecting the ball. And there was one other really bad pick he had against Carson Schwarzenegger against the Browns, where he said after the game that he forgot that the linebacker was allowed to jump or could jump. And granted, like we all know, Schwarzenegger is a crazy athlete. He tries to put it over him, and Schwarzenegger just went all the way up and snagged it. And yeah, kind of surprised Drake there. But the biggest turnover where the issue has been fumbles. And there are a lot of times where, like last week, he jukes Vita Vea with 2 hands on the ball and makes a crazy throw. And he has gotten better at keeping the 2 hands on, but he knows that he can break tackles. He knows he can extend plays. So what happens sometimes is he'll try to do that without protecting the ball. Like he'll try to stiff arm somebody, and a smart defender will capitalize on that and punch it out. So I don't know so much about the interceptions. Like, will his brain fall out of his head? I don't know. Maybe. That doesn't happen a ton. But if you really are looking for turnovers, it's going to be if he's in the pocket and someone's able to knock that ball loose. But again, he's gotten better with it. It's just one of those things where every once in a while he'll try to do a little bit too much. But I'm hoping this is the game where he snaps the streak because, like you said, the Jets have no turnovers on American soil, which is pretty wild. I found that one out this morning. And still, was it they forced 5 fumbles and dropped like 3 picks or something like that. So what's going on there from your perspective?
Well, first off, I just have to say this, Taylor, as we're talking about all this here in terms of the turnovers and things coming and going. The Jets have had this weird streak over the last couple of years of they are like, we hear sometimes people have like a magnet for the football. It's good tapes. They're in the right place at the right time. Oh, ball just falls in their lap. The Jets, it's like the opposite. It's a magnet. Whoa, up the ball jumps over here. Unbelievable. So the ball, like there's been opportunities where the ball just bounce around and then 12 Jets, blah, 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 like an NFL blitz, Nintendo 64 glitch. You're all jumping on top of it. Nothing happens. And someone jumps. You're like, son of a. So there's been a lot of that action happening, quite frankly. For the New York Jets, which has been difficult to process, to put all those pieces together. And by the way, Andre Sisco, of course, who forced that fumble, is now out for the season with a torn pec. God bless, Syracuse legend. Same thing for Sean Tucker, by the way. Didn't get a chance to mention that for all the Syracuse love earlier. And so, yeah, that part's been brutal. That part's been brutal, and there's really no explanation, right? It's been Jarvis Brownlee Jr.'s brand new interception right in his hands, boop, drop, saws, this, that. It's old players, new players, same players. It doesn't matter whoever it's been. So it's just been the same thing over and over again. I do want to give a quick shout out. Our guy Lou B is traveling to New England. So shout out to Lou B, Super Jets fan. My fiance and both of my children, my daughter turned 4 in January. My son just turned 1 last week. They're all in the New England area right now. So we'll see if they go to the game tonight. They're all her family's from Massachusetts. I'm so sorry to hear that for her. But yeah, they're all down there. So hopefully they're all having a good time.
Awesome.
Which is great. Woody, do you have any explanation for the turnover? Yeah, Taylor has a question. Come on, give this man an answer.
Well, I'm in my house right now. And I'm smelling popcorn. I guess my wife is making popcorn for the kiddos.
Oh, nice.
And that's just the perfect timing to answer this question because Butterfingers, all right, they just dropped the ball. Like literally it hits them in the hands. The fumbles, bounces one way or something like that. But come on now, literally Jarvis Brownlee in the hands. What's this guy's name? Brandon Stevens. In the hands. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? and we knew Sauce couldn't catch, so like I can't. I'm not even like surprised anymore when he drops. I know they showed that in his first Colts game. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. I was like, oh, yeah, that's the Sauce I know. And it's not even like disrespectful. It's just that my boy can't.
That felt disrespectful. I'm gonna be honest. That felt.
It felt good. Oh, well, I didn't intend it. I still got 2 Sauce jerseys in the air. Okay,
I got a lot of love for it, I guess. All right.
It's just that the boy can't catch. That's all it is. The boy can't catch.
But I would just say this for what Taylor brought up, that like, hey, maybe fumbles are more likely than interceptions. I don't discriminate. Interceptions, fumbles, I'll take any. I don't judge. I don't judge any. I'm not picky. Okay, at this position, I will take them however they come from the God's blessed be He. Okay, that's how I feel. So
yes, yeah, that's definitely we'll like to wholeheartedly agree there. When I saw those sack numbers, I was like, all right, let's get some fumbles, but hopefully they just bounce our way, and that just has not been the case. So the interceptions, that's why to me it almost seems like the interception. That's if it hits you in the hands, you got to pull it in. There's some times where you force a fumble and it just happens to bounce.
It's an oblong-shaped football, sure.
Those little arms, get out there, the T-Rex, and pick it up like that. There's nothing you can do about that. But when you're in a position, you jump around, you hit, you gotta pick it up, man. You gotta pull it in, and they just have not been doing it. That is.
So let's go here, Taylor. I'm just going to be blunt. All right. Let's just be blunt here. I think it's important to be straight, with one another. And here it is. Okay. Patriots are 8-2, 7-game winning streak, first place in the AFC East, 2.5-game lead over Buffalo. I'm just going to ask you, as no long wine pitch, no nothing. Just here we go. Do the New York Jets literally have an edge in absolutely any category against the first place New England Patriots?
I don't think so. Maybe special teams.
Oh, hey, special teams. Special teams is elite. What are you talking about?
Man, that's what I'm saying. So I think that might be it. I mean, the Patriots have been very good. They've been very good on that end too. But if you give me something, I'll give you special teams.
Special teams. Special teams.
Yeah, we about to put that on the fridge. Special teams.
Special teams wins games. Special teams wins games.
Clearly, yeah.
I mean, they single-handedly won us the game last week, so we know.
There you go.
We know. Let me ask you this actually, because I thought I was cooking this past summer in fantasy. I was like, all right, Drake May, Diggs. I don't know if he coming back at full strength. But Hunter Henry, that year 2 Hunter Henry, we're gonna be cooking. And he had like 2 good games, and ever since then, let's talk. Hey, this is a 2-parter now. We talking what happened to Hunter Henry? Is he still alive? Does he have a post? I think he had one game. 1 point for me last week. So now I'm in the waiver wire looking at tight ends. And B, how does Drake get the numbers he's getting when he's literally throwing to Booty out there in the field?
Oh my God. Okay. So one, Booty isn't going to be out there tonight. So I was gonna make a joke. I'm not gonna do that. But so first of all, Hunter Henry, honestly, I thought they were feeding him the ball almost too much. Like the trajectory that they were at, I was like, this is not it looked awesome. Like they were running him on leak, they're having him go vertical out of the backfield. I'm like, this is awesome, but this man is 30 years old. Like you can't funnel the offense through him like this. And what's happened is the Patriots, and this is how Josh McDaniels' offense has always been. If you have a Gronkowski or a Julian Edelman, like, yes, you are going to try to scheme opportunities for them, just like we've seen with Stephon Diggs and at time Hunter Henry. But really, this offense functions, and it's very quarterback-friendly because there's answers. One, I think the best example I can give is Josh McDaniels isn't afraid to call the exact same play multiple times in a game, sometimes like 3 or 4 times. There was like the Saints game where he's calling the same thing, but Drake is going to different options based on what the coverage is. So, yes, there will be times they're trying to go somewhere with the ball, but Drake, and this is one of the most amazing things considering he's just a second-year quarterback, he doesn't really fall for trap looks, does a great job moving defenders when he needs to, not taking the cheese when people try to bait him with disguises, or, like in cover 2. Those corners will kind of look like they're going to go in man coverage and they flip. Buccaneers tried that on him and he never fell for it, which I think you guys might remember. Mac Jones took the cheese on those all the time. So it's incredible watching Drake do this well, but really he is spreading the ball around. So in critical moments last week against the Buccaneers, 4th down, there's a touchdown to Stephon Diggs. Like, everybody in the house knows where that's probably going to go, even though with Hunter and Diggs, it created a little bit of conflict. But really, Drake does not discriminate. Like he has said, I think somebody asked him before the season, because Diggs, they were kind of playing it slow. He was practicing a lot, but he wasn't playing in the preseason. They were kind of monitoring his reps at times. And then it was asked, like, are you going to try to feed Stephon the ball? And he was like, if he's open, yeah, I will. And that tells you all you need to know. Because if he's not feeling the pressure to throw to Stephon Diggs and he's like, no, I'm going to go where the progression takes me, that is representative of what this Patriots offense is. And I will say, to Kayshon Boutte's credit, man, the steps that he's taken each year of his career have been phenomenal. Like, this was a former first-round talent. He obviously had the ankle injury. I think it was foot or ankle, I'm sorry. But he had surgery where he even said, like, he can't jump as high as he used to. But the ball skills, the route running, all of that, in the deficiencies in his game, he really ironed out. If you look at, if you like stats, Wudi, his next-gen stats, his catch rate over expected is one of the highest in the league. And on deep contested catches, he's up there too. Like, he's been balling as well. But this entire Patriots receiving core is really playing above what people expected. So Drake's been fantastic, but those boys also make some really phenomenal catches, and it's allowed him to have trust in pretty much anybody who's open at any given time.
Yeah, ankle surgery, by the way, for Booty. It was
ankle, yes.
Ankle, yes. Taylor, I hate everything about the New England Patriots. I almost hate them more than I love the Jets, and I do a daily damn show about this team. Everything about them I hate. The only thing that is somewhat redeemable is Taylor Gosh-darn Kyles. I mean, it's hard to hate you, man, for God's sakes. But, I mean, everything else, lose. Taylor Kyles, not bad. So, Taylor, I always enjoy when we're able to cross-pollinate here for these Jets Patriots, and blessed be he, we get to do this twice every year, which is pretty magical.
I appreciate you having me on, buddy. And seriously, you get me so fired up. This isn't our usual 7 a.m. cup of coffee show.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's been a slow start. So this is basically the morning. So we got a night game. So appreciate you fellas. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Woody, go ahead.
Absolutely. Yes. I would say usually I mean it. And I say, good luck. Like, when we have these, I'm like, good, nice talking. Let's have a fair fight, and all that type of stuff. I can't lie. I say AFC East, man. The Patriots. Oh my God, I got a cousin. He's just a little net in my ear all the time.
Patriots.
Everybody's got a cousin who's a Pats fan and just won't shut up about the Pats. I know.
100%.
So I can't say that, but I can say it was an absolute joy, delight, honor speaking with you this afternoon.
Feelings all mutual, fellas. Thank you so much. Warming my heart over here. Making me blush. Making the black man blush, per usual. Every time I'm on this show.
Well, there you go. Shout out again to 1,000 people in the room that are watching this damn program right now. So how you doing? And I'm sure this isn't the first time you've seen Taylor. He's on ESPN too. I see him on the Mina Kime show all the time. I mean, he's all over the gosh darn place. So I'm glad he still remembers us little people here on the show. So Taylor, God bless. And that was not a vertically challenged joke towards myself of being 5'3", but if the shoe fits Cinderella. There we go.
Appreciate you, fellas. Hey, I will say good luck. I see the state that the injury report. I will say good luck. I'll give you a little bit of that.
Okay, there we go. Well, we'll take everything we could get. God bless.
I was going to say that means a lot.
There you go. Amen. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. I'll be back on for a live watch party. Taylor will be at the game, and Wudi will be eating popcorn, apparently. Thanks for the invite, pal. And looking forward to all that jazz. So everybody take care, and we'll see you next time